What happens when a man tries to play God? What happens when his creation refuses to obey and refuses to die? Tonight, we turn the pages of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, a story of ambition, guilt, and the terrifying price of creating life. Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus, was written in 1818 by Mary Shelley, 1797 to 1851, when she was only 18 years old. Born from a nightmare during a stormy summer by Lake Geneva, it is often called the very first science fiction novel and one of the most haunting Gothic stories ever told. But more than just a monster tale, Frankenstein is a tragedy about love, loss, and the loneliness of being truly alone. Picture a young scientist, Victor Frankenstein, hunched over a table in a flickering candlelit room. The smell of chemicals and decay fills the air. Outside, a storm rages, thunder shaking the windows. And then, a spark. Victor does the unthinkable. He creates life from death. But when the creature opens its yellow, watery eyes, Victor does not feel pride. He feels terror. He runs, leaving the newborn creature to face the world alone. This is where the tragedy begins. The creature, nameless, innocent, and childlike, tries to understand life. He hides in the shadows, watching families from a distance. He learns to speak, to read, to dream of belonging. But every time he steps into the light, he is met with screams, stones, and rejection. He is not a monster yet, but the world makes him one. Lonely and enraged, the creature seeks out Victor. He begs for one thing: a companion, someone like him, someone who will not scream at the sight of him. Victor begins to create a second creature, but halfway through, he destroys it, terrified of what might happen if two monsters walk the earth. This is the moment the creature breaks. He vows revenge. He strangles Victor's little brother. He frames an innocent woman who is executed for the crime. And then he begins to stalk Victor, not to kill him, but to make him suffer. The rest of the novel becomes a chilling chase. Victor follows his creation across mountains, forests, and icy tundras, burning with hatred, while the creature stays just far enough ahead, taunting him. It is a story of obsession, of a man who created something he could not control and cannot destroy. The chase ends on the frozen Arctic Sea. Victor, exhausted and dying, is found by a passing ship and tells the captain his story, a warning of what ambition can unleash. Then he dies. When the creature learns of Victor's death, he does not celebrate. He weeps. He tells the captain that he never wanted this life, never wanted this endless pain. Then, in one of the most haunting endings in literature, he sails away on an ice raft, vowing to burn himself alive, though we never see if he does. Frankenstein is more than a Gothic horror tale. It's a story about responsibility, about the danger of trying to control life itself, and about the terrible cost of abandoning what we create. It asks a question that still haunts us today. If we build something powerful, whether science, technology, or intelligence, do we owe it love, or do we owe it fear? Imagine standing in that lab with Victor. The lightning flashes. The stitched figure begins to move. Would you feel awe or dread? Would you run as Victor did, leaving it to stumble into the night, confused and heartbroken? Or would you stay and face the thing you created, even if it terrified you? That is the real horror of Frankenstein, not the monster, but the mirror it holds up to us. Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein more than 200 years ago, but its questions still feel urgent. What do we owe the things we bring into the world? And when we turn our backs on them, whether children, creations, or responsibilities, do we create our own monsters? If this story of ambition and tragedy still chills you, hit that like button. Share this video with a friend who thinks they know the real Frankenstein story. And tell me in the comments, do you think the creature was a monster or simply a victim? Subscribe for more deep dives into the most haunting stories ever told. And remember, the real monster may not be the one with the stitches.